Hi, I'm Terry. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to start a series of tests on my medieval styled 60 caliber black powder handgun. Now, if you remember my proof of concept test that I did a couple of weeks ago, you might think this is a completely different firearm, but it's not. As you can see, there's the breech. The barrel is in here. There's the muzzle. What I did was I cut down some bamboo growing in my driveway, split the top off, mounted the gun in it, put the top back on, and then I just used this artificial sinew to hold it in place, and then pinned this rod in so I can hold it. So this forms medieval styled stock, as it were. And don't worry about these cracks here. Like I said, this is where I split it open, and there's a few cracks around the muzzle too. This bamboo actually adds nothing in the way of structural integrity to the gun itself. The part that shoots is the steel parts inside this. This is just to hold it together. So think of it like a wooden stock for a rifle or a pistol grip. Okay, this is just to hold it together. Okay, the testing that I'm going to do is going to be, I broke down into two basic categories, capability and fun. Fun will come, of course, later in the year, and the first step is the capability. What is this thing capable of, if anything? So I broke that down into penetration, damage, which means meat target, range, and accuracy. And I'm going to kind of combine penetration and range for now. I'm going to get back to that later when I bring in the accuracy test. But for today, I'm going to test out penetration. And I'm going to be doing these tests over several days. So, you know, if you see the location, my shirt, the position of the sun changes, that is why. I don't have a lot of time to spend on all the tests combined, so I can only get like one at a time done. So today I'm going to do penetration, and then hopefully in the next couple of days I'll finish that up and then work on damage. Penetration. I'm going to shoot a 54 caliber lead ball with a 90 grain charge of F GoX black powder into two 2x6s bar clamped together. That's today. I'm going to compare that with a baseline, which is this, my Colt 1851 Navy in 44 caliber with a 5-inch barrel. What I want to do is establish a baseline on penetration with this to establish a baseline on range that I can then compare this with. And that's because the 1851 Colt Army in 44 caliber with a 7.5-inch barrel had an effective range of 225 feet. Well, we can assume that the 5-inch barrel is going to be just a little bit shorter. But for the sake of argument and for this test, let's say it's got a range of 200 feet. And to give you an idea of just how far that is, I'm standing exactly 200 feet away from the front of that black Jeep in the background. Now, that doesn't seem like very much compared to what modern handguns are capable of. But when you consider the fact that the vast majority of self-defense shootings take place at a range of less than 10 feet, 200 feet's not bad. You know, besides, it might be a bit difficult convincing a jury that I had to shoot the guy that far away in self-defense. I mean, the guy was trying to rob me. Seriously, I mean, he had a knife and everything. So the idea here is I'm going to shoot both this and the revolver at two 2x6s bar clamped together at a distance of 12 feet. And the idea being, if say the Colt penetrates X inches of wood at 12 feet and this penetrates the same X inches of wood at 12 feet, then we can assume that the muzzle velocity of both are very similar, which means the range is going to be very similar. Now, it may not put us on third base, but it will get us in the ballpark. And I can come back and I can hone that down better later on. So I'm out here in the deep dark forest. Let's set it up and see what we got. Okay, so first, the baseline, the Colt 1851 Navy. And now, the antique. Overshot the target, so let's back off the powder charge and try it again. Let's see what we got. Okay, we shot high right here, and you can see it's just barely penetrated. And then here is the revolver. So let's see what we got here. Well, the revolver did a little better, actually. It penetrated through the first 2x6 here, and then partially into the second one. Now it is shooting low. You can see here where it's split it open here, but it did go into the second 2x6. Now the handgun, in fact, I think I could dig that out and reuse it. Barely penetrated. That's interesting, because I did this test before, and it went completely through that first 2x6. So I'm kind of curious about why it didn't this time. And there's the bullet. And it flattened it out pretty good. It's interesting. So, not as much power. I'm going to say maybe half as much power as the revolver. Half the penetration. I mean, it made a nice hole in it though, nice sized hole. But even so, that's not bad. That's if we got half the penetration, we probably had half the velocity. So let's say 100 feet, 100 feet. That medieval handgun could take somebody down at 100 feet. That's not bad for you know, medieval technology, 13th century, 14th century technology. Not bad at all. Then this ball flattening out, I've got a feeling that this wood is probably on the green side, because like I said, I've done this test before. The last time you saw me shoot this was the gun alone by itself, just a pipe by itself, and I was tying it down to a sawhorse. Well, I bumped the power up, the powder charge up, over several days, up to 90 grains, and that actually penetrated this 2x6. So a different 2x6, not this one. So that's interesting, but we're going to go with this. Okay, so we're going to say it will not penetrate one 2x6 as compared to the revolver, which did penetrate one 2x6. Okay, so as I said, I am getting some inconsistent results here. I have fired that handgun before and completely penetrated one 2x6, and this time it did not even go halfway through. So I'm going to set this up and try it one more time just to see what happens. Got him that time. Okay, hit it right here. And you can see the bullet sticking out. Well, at least I can. So yeah, it barely penetrated in. I want to say it went in about halfway, maybe less. You can see it right here. That's it right there, just barely went in. Probably the front of the bullet was probably about halfway through. Let's see here. Yeah, probably went about halfway through, both of them. So despite my earlier result, 2 shots in a row, about halfway in to the 2x6s. So we're going to say about half as powerful as the black powder revolver and about 100 feet. So we'll go from there. But there's nothing demeaning about any of this, because remember, this thing is made from water pipe that I purchased from a local hardware store. So to penetrate halfway into a 2x6, which compared to the revolver would give us an effective killing range of about 100 feet. That's not bad. I mean, I'm sure we could learn from our mistakes and make a better one and get a lot better results on that. But still, 100 feet. Now, that's pretty good for a homemade gun, I think. Now, in the next test, I'm actually going to fire some buckshot through this, 9 pellets of buckshot on plywood. And I want to see what kind of pattern dispersion we get at different ranges and the penetration as well. So stick around for part 2/C. And as always, don't try this at home. This video is for information, entertainment purposes only. It is not an instructional guide, and I do not advocate or recommend that people make, possess, or test firearms at home. They can be dangerous. They can hurt people, including yourself. Worse than that, somebody else. So enjoy the video, but do not try this yourself, okay? And if you do try it, you are solely responsible for any consequences that happen. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.